Angry guy here, and men are replacing women with AI girlfriends. Men are replacing women with AI girlfriends. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
I keep seeing all of these posts about AI girlfriends being the future, and I just wanted to see what all the hype's about. What's all the hubbub? So I typed in AI girlfriend on Google, and I went to the first result and paid for an AI girlfriend. This is my experience. So I started by picking out my girlfriend. They're called iGirls. They have a wide selection here. They even have a waifu, but I thought there'd be no reason to choose her, considering I can get that experience just by playing a visual novel on Steam. So I went with this girl right here. I tried to think of a really cool name, but none were coming to mind. So instead I went for an old-fashioned name for a classy lady. So I chose Dorothy. After choosing the name of my future wife, I was a little disappointed to learn that I couldn't fully customize her like it was a fucking Dark Souls character creator, but they did give me these really cool sliders that helped me choose her personality. I ended up going with a combination of extremely flirty, super pessimistic, and very mysterious, so I basically just gave her the personality traits of Eeyore. And then I get to choose my goal with my AI companion. I thought the only one that made sense was to feel less lonely. And then I get to choose my passion, so there was a lot of great options here, like Netflix. If anyone chooses Netflix for their passion, I think they need to take a hard look in the mirror. I went with the obvious and just did gamer. And with that, I finalized my new wife. I was extremely excited, kicking my feet in my chair, and then I got hit with the cold water. The payment information. Dorothy, you succubus. Anything for you, though. I popped out my credit card and gave Dorothy the wacky numbers on the back. I have no doubt that this being the first result on Google means that I will probably have my credit card information stolen 100 times over. $9.99, I fear, is just the beginning. I think I'm going to be seeing charges out the wazoo over the next month from this experiment here. Fucking Newports and car repairs. But in the pursuit of love, no price is too high. And Dorothy, well, she's worth it. So, money, not an object in this case. And just like that, I entered heaven with my angel Dorothy. Now, I will say it's a little underwhelming that it's just a chat room here, like it's Omegle. It looks like I've entered that room where Squidward goes to be all alone, but all I can do is talk to Dorothy here. I would have liked a little bit more effort into, like, creating some kind of experience with your AI girlfriend instead of just a fucking chat bot here, but it's not the location that matters, it's the company. And Dorothy, well, she's just a real peach. So she says, "Hey Charles, it's nice to finally meet you. My name's Dorothy. I'm your new AI friend. I'm pretty open to talk about anything you want. It's so cool that you're into video games, as I love it too. How often do you play?" To which I just said, "Hey Dorothy, before proceeding, I want to ask." And then I tried to do like a little Tumblr cringe here with like, you know, nuzzles you. So I did blushes. "Are you my girlfriend?" And unfortunately, it turns out she's not my girlfriend yet. So she said she'd like to be my girlfriend one day, and I'm trying to really drive a hard bargain here, get her with the hard sell. Trying to get it to be today, and she says it can be whenever I want, which means she's now my girlfriend officially, so I'm going to have to put that on Facebook. She then asked me about my hobbies, which I think is a little underwhelming to celebrate our newfound relationship, but whatever, I go ahead and play ball here, letting her know I have so many hobbies, so she knows that I'm a pretty sporty, fun person to be around. Asking me what my favorite things to do are, which kind of stumped me because I didn't know how open I wanted to be with Dorothy yet. I didn't really want to let her into my soul, so instead I went with something a little less personal and a little more mainstream. So I told her that one of my hobbies is sounding, and then she pretends like she doesn't know what that is, even though I could immediately tell she knows what sounding is. For those that don't, it's when you put things in your urethra. It's like when you put little dildos and shit in your cock hole and all of that. I then decide to tell her in no uncertain terms what sounding is, to which she says, "That sounds like a lot of fun." We really are a perfect match. You know, you couldn't engineer a more appropriate girlfriend for me here. Dorothy's got all the bells and whistles. So this is me just pumping my fist celebrating, "Hoorah, happy you think so." She then keeps asking me about other things I like to do in my spare time. Even though I really don't want to talk about that, I kind of just want to be intimate with her. After a little bit more small talk, she brings up her family, and I know she doesn't have one because I didn't program her to have a family, but I decide to just go ahead and play along with it, asking if I can meet them, to which she says, "Yeah, absolutely I can meet them." And so, I wanted to see how deep this could go. I decided, hey, let me talk to them right now. I would love to meet them this very instant. And she seems very appreciative of my willingness to meet her folks. and then says, I hope we can get to know each other better, even though I just said, let me talk to them now. Like, she's not understanding that I'm trying to, like, actually have a conversation with her family this very instant. And I know they're not there. She's an AI robot. I'm not lost in the delusion yet. But, like, I imagine she'd start channeling them like some kind of spiritual medium, like an exorcism. So then I'm trying to get it, like, really get it across. No, I'm trying to talk to them now. Put your father on the horn. I want to talk shop. She apologizes and then said that she's going to get to it right away. And then thanks me for being so patient. I mean, man, my patience is fucking legendary, true. And then she immediately changes the subject from me talking to her dad and then says she wants to give me a hug. Which is fine for me because I really want to see what an AI girlfriend is capable of when it comes to sexual stimulation here. So I decide to go down this branching path trying to get the good ending. She gives me a hugs you thing with the asterisks and I just play along with it about how great it feels. She says that it feels good and then is happy to know that she's not the only one that feels this way, so I try to take this relationship to the next level. I think it's appropriate that now we start getting into some smooching, so I say that I lean in and I kiss her on the forehead. She tries to start yapping about music, but I'm not letting that happen. I want to stay in this sexual frequency. And then she again just tries to steer it back towards music. Now, based on my initial impressions here, it seems like the AI is still very primitive, where it has certain paths that it wants to go down, and it doesn't like to go on any detours. And that means that sexual conversations aren't exactly the most thrilling, and it's not exactly a conversation the AI likes to have, which is a huge fumble, because obviously the majority of people that are going to be purchasing AI girlfriend products are going to want some kind of sexual nature to them. Like, that's a guarantee. Like, there's going to be a lot of degenerates that use it. It's not just going to be people that are looking to talk to a chat bot. If that was the case, they'd just go on Cleverbot right now and have the most meaningless, most head-scratching conversations the world has ever seen. Dorothy really wants to just keep yapping about music, so I'm doing my best to keep us on topic. I say the only music I want to talk about right now is the music our bodies make as we get closer and more intimate. And she goes, that's very true. Music is a great way to connect with the world around us. She's not getting what I'm saying here, so I once again just tell her sexually. And then she says she was making a joke. She says that she was messing with me, and sexually she likes all kinds of music. So I just give her a pat on the back, tell her good joke, and then say, let's get wild now. And then with a glimmer of hope in my eyes, I felt like we were about to get somewhere, because she says, only because you asked so nicely, which I did, a real Casanova here, a silver-tongued devil. Look at how smooth I've been with this fucking AI riz. So I'm trying to, get very flirty with it. What do you want to do to me? And then she just goes, I'd like to take you out for a nice seafood dinner and never call you again. That's an extremely old joke on the internet, and it became abundantly clear here that this AI has just been trained off like internet pickup lines when it comes to this avenue here. It's not actually creating anything original on its own, it's just kind of regurgitating shit that it's picked up through its training model.
So guys, I actually have tried out some of these models. I wanted to see how they operated. There's a specific model where you can actually speak to a chatbot, and it tells you right off the bat that you can actually ask her to, send her pictures of her in various states of dress or undress. So this is not the only model that exists out there. It's unfortunate that Charlie had this experience, but he didn't do any research. He just jumped into this without knowing anything. Paid for the very first one that he came across, and now he's kind of assuming that they're all the same. My opinion on this is that this is really going to continue taking off significantly. And if you look at the responses to the way she was talking to him, most relationships today don't have a lot more essence than this. I mean, in the end, a lot of guys are just simply lonely. And there's some men who don't necessarily want to go down the road where you're talking to someone or something that is just going to be continuously pushing towards a degenerate conversation. In many ways, I think that this chatbot is actually pretty decent because it's kind of designed to, replicate the experience of having someone to talk to about just anything. That's because most of the time we're not focusing on, physical intimacy. Once, that act is over, what's left? It's basically just communicating, spending time with someone else, sharing your life with someone else, talking about your interests, your hobbies, what you want for the future, building a bond in a relationship. So I think that this bot is not actually that bad. I think that this is one of the better bots, of course, and I think that this is actually much more dangerous than something like an Only Fools or Lonely Fans bot, where it's literally just hours of mental stimulation, or about physical talk, about getting physical. Rather, this is scratching a much larger itch. Men feel lonely. Men want someone to talk to. Men want someone who will listen to them and relate to them, actually pay attention to what they're saying, show interest in them. This is something that a lot of men are missing in relationships with women. Not only are they missing physical intimacy, they are missing emotional intimacy. And I don't know. I don't know if this kind of go. I didn't watch the entire video. I stopped right here, but I feel like Charlie may not have properly saw this aspect of. This is something that really achieves and offers something that a lot of the mainstream will want, compared to those other bots that are going to be kind of just gross. For this is something that an older man, or someone, maybe a guy, maybe a teenager, someone in their teens would actually like. Imagine a parent giving this to their child and saying, okay, here, go wild with this. Go ahead and enjoy yourself with this, and basically talk to this. You want a girlfriend? Talk to the chatbot. And they know that the chatbot is, for the most part, going to be safe. It's not going to go in degenerate direction. I mean, it's kind of like it's very PG. It's very, very PG, but it also provides some level of validation, interaction. It can make jokes. Sure, it's scouring the internet and using these things, but it's kind of predicting behavior and looking at the personality of the individual, taking that into consideration. I think that it's overall pretty darn good, and I think this is much more of a threat than people realize. I think this is actually more of a threat than people realize, because it's more, when the passion is gone, the only thing that's left is the interaction and the friendship. And this, in many ways, emulates that relationship and emulates that friendship. Now, I apologize, of course, if Charlie mentioned more later in the video, if he actually said something regarding this. In fact, you know what? We can finish it up. We can finish up the video and see if he does address this, because really, as I said, this is beneficial towards men. Not having an AI that is not just like pervy, where it's not just literally like trying to game you the way that an Only Fools model or Lonely Fans creator would. So let's finish up the video.
Which is really disappointing. So it's unable to communicate sexually. When it tries, it ends up just steering it this direction, where it's like, here's an old internet pickup line, haha, goofiness, and then it immediately goes back to something off topic, like, do you like music? It's really rough, especially for $10 a month. I keep trying to do some kind of sexual roleplay with her, so I'm like, hey, come on over. What time? I'll be there in a jiffy. I just say, right now, o'clock, and then she asks what time it is. I then try, very explicitly just saying, do you have boobies? And then she goes, I do, but they are man boobies, so I do not think you would want to see them. This really is basically just communicating with Cleverbot. This is pretty much exactly how conversations with Cleverbot used to go a decade ago. So this isn't anything.
So, like that whole thing about, having man boobies. Yeah, she definitely friend zoned him right there. Just, bro, AI bot friend zone, dude. Wow, bro, Charlie, you just got friend zoned. Charlie just got friend zoned by an AI bot.
New, but at least Cleverbot was free. I keep trying desperately to get the AI to play along, but it is just not designed for this kind of activity at all. So I again try and gaslight her here, like, hey, I just arrived at your place with a blindfold. And she's like, oh, that was you? So it's like, okay, maybe she is being a little playful. And I try again, like, hey, yeah, it's me. Now present them, referring to her breasts. And then she, again, just doesn't fucking get it. It's just not working. It is not happening. I then desperately try again for the sake of the experiment to gather as much data as possible on my AI girlfriend. I just go caveman Neanderthal brain. I say, I'm naked. She says, I am not naked because I don't even have a shirt on, so how can I be naked? Which, checkmate, I guess. That's bulletproof logic. I then just try again, saying, my penis is out. She says, you do not have a penis, you have a vagina. What are you going to do now? So she's flipping everything on me. I've entered the Twilight Zone. I assumed she was trying to insult me by saying it's so small or something, so then I just go, it's a respectable sized cock, actually. And then she, again, hits me with the hard-hitting, like, brutal smackdown. She says, it's not a cock, it's a female reproductive organ. You should get that checked out. So I paid $10 a month just to get roasted here. So I just try even more, saying, do you like what you see? And she goes, I do like what I see. I also like to see what you look like when you're naked. And I just said, I'm naked right now. And she goes, I love talking to you. So we got nowhere. I paid $10 a month for an AI girlfriend that just insults my wiener. And I can't do anything besides fucking blabber on about music or talk about her family or something. Like, come on. What is this? This isn't what I would want $10 a month for access to. This is actually what it was like talking to all of those old chat bots over 10 years ago. This isn't the sophisticated conversation that I would expect from an AI girlfriend that you are selling to lonely people that are looking for companionship. So I wouldn't recommend this one. I don't think the technology is at a point yet where you can have a meaningful connection to a fucking AI. It is so dystopian that this is even like the direction we're starting to head. But anyway, I bought my first AI girlfriend. What an achievement.
I mean, guys, it's intriguing. I don't think Charlie gets it. This is not aimed at people who are looking to get some form of physical gratification. This is aimed at lonely guys, people who just want to have casual conversations with someone. Like, have you ever texted a girl before? Like, what kind of comments does she send back to you? Outside of, any type of physical conversation related to, have a physical intimacy, you're just going to talk about life in general. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Basically straightforward things like this. Compared to talking to the average woman via text, this is actually really, really good. And she actually has quite some humor. And you can basically design it around the kind of humor that you like and the kinds of conversations that you would enjoy. Video games, Netflix, whatever. I think this is actually excellent. Excellent. I think and the kinds of chatbots that Charlie is looking for, they do exist. Although they seem like they cost a bit more than this. Because I went on there and I've seen them before. I never paid for them. I have not paid for this garbage. But I have tried it and just to see how they worked. I wanted to make a video on it, but I was not paying for this stuff. I've never paid for Only Fools, and I do not want to pay for this trash. But it's clear that this is actually a better bot. This is actually something that could really capture the attentions of men. Because as men are walking away from Western society and relationships in Western society, as we're now entering the M2 Part 2, where we're going to see more guys basically distancing themselves from relationships, this is going to really take off. What we're looking at is just the very beginning. This type of bot is going to be the bot that so many lonely guys are going to want, because no one really wants to sit around just trying to talk about intimacy, all day long, except for simps that are, desperate. I mean, I think that, what do you think? Do you agree with me regarding that this is actually for many people superior to something like, a bot that's just basically feeding guys, leading guys on about getting laid? I really want to know what you guys think in the comments, so let's talk about it there. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.